Thank you. Thank you all so much. Welcome. Welcome. We are so happy you are all here to join us for our spring quarterly. So my name is Kathy Jafari, and I have the privilege, and I really do not use that word lightly. I have the privilege of being your 2025 Chancellor of the Philadelphia Bar Association. Applause is not in my notes, but I love it. Thank you so much. We really are thrilled to have you in this beautiful space this evening. And for those of you who joined us a few minutes before the 4:30 time frame, we just finished up an incredible reception for our 50, 60, 70-year clubbers, as well as our former chancellors. So that is what we are celebrating tonight. Our 50, 60, 70-year clubbers, our former Chancellor, Jen Coatsworth, and we're going to be learning all about what's in store in 2026 for Philadelphia. So welcome. I have to say, it's only been 3 months, and as you all know, it has been a very unique and challenging year for the legal profession overall, and certainly for the Bar Association. But I am proud to say the Bar Association has been meeting the moment together. This is where I would like to thank all of you, the members of the Bar Association, for all that you have done to lead us, to support us as we work together to defend the legal profession, judicial independence, and the rule of law. Let's stand together and let's support each other in this effort. So the support of every member has been vital to our work. I especially want to call out the leadership team here at the Bar Association. My Chancellor-elect, and I love saying my because we are together in this, and my Vice Chancellor, the three of us have been working hard. Ezra Wogerlernter from Feldman Shepherd, and Christine Callalang from her own firm. This is what I love. First time folks, large firm, mid-size, solo. It's a fabulous team to work with. But while we are working extremely hard to defend the legal profession against all of the attacks that lawyers and law firms are seeing, our mission tonight is a celebration. So let's do that. Let's celebrate tonight. I am really thrilled to be doing so. We gather tonight at our spring quarterly to recognize special members in our community. We'll recognize the 50, 60, and 70-year club inductees for their decades of service to the Bar Association and all that they have done in our community. We'll honor our 2024 Chancellor, Jen Coatsworth, who has been a part of the association's leadership since her days in the Young Lawyers Division. And we will also hear from city leaders about a year of celebrations in Philadelphia in 2026, including the 250th celebration of American independence. Very vital conversation this year. This event is particularly exciting for our association as we trace our origins back to the founding of our country. And then we have time to spend together for our reception, so plenty of time to be together. So before we begin, I would like to thank all of our wonderful sponsors at the gold level, Blank Rome, sorry Larry, where's Larry? Blank Rome, my firm, Cozen O'Connor, thank you, Cozen, Feldman Shepherd, Tanner Weinstock and Dogdig, and Margolis Edelstein. At the silver level, Fox Rothschild. At the bronze level, Freeman Mathis and Gray and Fulgenetti Law. I'd also like to thank our annual partners, Alavista Legal Search, Bit by Bit, M&T Bank, PMP, USI Affinity, My Benefit Advisor, and Wealth Enhancement Group. Folks, without all of these sponsors, we would not be able to have the association that we have. So please join me in thanking the sponsors. I would also like to highlight our institutional members: Drexel University, Klein School of Law, Temple University Beasley School of Law, the City of Philadelphia Law Department, the District Attorney's Office, the Defender Association of Philadelphia, Community Legal Services, Philadelphia Legal Assistance, the Public Interest Law Center, Senior Law Center, and the Support Center for Child Advocates. I see so many of you representing these incredible organizations. We appreciate all your support. So please, a round of applause for our institutional members. Our program begins tonight with honoring our 2024 Chancellor, Jen Coatsworth. I am proud to say Jen and I have known each other for a very long time, and we've gotten a chance to work together for a long time. We served on the Board of Governors together, and we've planned many events and programs together over the years. I'm also proud to say Jen and I have a commitment to the Bar Association that had led to one of the most respectful, enjoyable, and meaningful election races I bet Philadelphia and maybe the nation has ever seen. Jen, I was proud that we both ran for Vice Chancellor because we showed our community that two people could respect each other and demonstrate to Philadelphia how much we cared about our profession, our fellow colleagues, and Philadelphia. Cleaning streets together, giving debates, made us not only stronger, but built our respect for each other, and even more, our friendship. What some thought would be a tough and fraught experience became one of mutual respect. We both were determined to run a positive campaign that, given the world we live in, has unfortunately become more and more rare. It also created a rare opportunity that helped us work even better together when we both became part of the association's leadership. So I want to thank you, Jen, for bringing me into that fold and giving me the opportunity to work with you. I was grateful for it. Watching Jen as Chancellor of our Bar Association brought home for me, more than ever, what a caring, compassionate, and inclusive person that Jen is, and how willing she is to jump in to serve our community, whether as a leader or a participant. As most of you know, wherever you go in our legal community, Jen is there, making an impactful, positive experience. In 2024, our association made great strides under Jen's leadership. I know she will discuss them, so I'll not repeat them here. But what I do want to say to you, Jen, is thank you. Thank you for your contributions to the association. Thank you for your contributions to the community. We are proud to honor you today. Please give a round of applause to Jen as she makes her way to the podium. Oh, you're welcome. Oh, there we go. These are for you. And even better, come in the front. Come in behind the podium. I'm just going to leave it underneath. Is that okay? Yep, perfect.
Thank you, Chancellor Jafari, for those incredibly kind words. Fellow Bar Association members, esteemed guests, I was so honored to serve as your Chancellor in 2024. Working together, we enjoyed a year of success and continued growth of our association, none of which would have been possible without the commitment of our volunteer leadership and the ongoing support of all of our members. To highlight just a few of those successes, we instituted a program with many association members participating in small group discussions about how we can measurably move diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging forward in all types of office environments. The dedication of these groups has been remarkable and remains ongoing as we are working to determine the best direction to continue these efforts, particularly in light of the increasing attacks on DEIB programs. Additionally, a small group of dedicated association leaders and volunteers did significant work on creating a proposal to update the association's bylaws and the bylaws of the Judicial Selection and Retention Commission. While this work is still ongoing, we are confident it will result in creating efficiency and allow us to be nimbler and in meeting the constantly evolving needs of our membership. Also, in partnership with the Pennsylvania Bar Association, the Committee of 70, and the Pepper Center, we worked to train and recruit poll workers across all 67 Pennsylvania counties to educate our membership on critical issues relating to ensuring free and fair elections. These efforts remain ongoing as well, as our Pennsylvania Democracy Task Force strategizes how to address the continued attacks on the fundamental principles of our democracy and the rule of law. In 2024, we further expanded our institutional membership program to include public interest partners, in addition to the law schools and the city departments. This highly successful initiative has allowed us to grow and diversify our membership, helping us to speak with an even stronger voice about issues impacting the legal profession in Philadelphia and beyond. Our Board of Governors was hard at work and passed a resolution in support of proposed legislation that would prohibit conversion therapy for those under 18. The board also passed a resolution in opposition to the disciplinary board's proposed rulemaking regarding succession planning and suggesting amendments to the proposed rule. Additionally, the board passed resolutions in support of intent-based parentage, both in favor of legislation and to file an amicus brief in the Glover case related to that issue. I am thrilled to report that just about a week ago, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled in favor of intent-based parentage in Glover, a huge win for our community and for our association's efforts. Our Professional Guidance Committee, along with its counterpart in the Pennsylvania Bar Association, issued an ethics opinion on the use of generative AI in the practice of law, encouraging attorneys to make themselves aware of the risks and benefits offered by the technology. This year, we continue the work with Chancellor Jafari's leadership with the Innovation in the Law Summit and other projects that address the new developments in this rapidly evolving sector. In addition, we spoke out on behalf of our community and delivered testimony before City Council committees in support of providing permanent funding for the city's eviction diversion program and of legislation to provide for licensing of people responsible for performing tenant evictions at residential properties. Both measures were ultimately successful, and I also had the chance to provide commentary for an en banc argument session on PCN, providing explanation for lay members of the community on cases decided by the Superior Court. I also had the opportunity and the great privilege to travel to Washington with 25 of our association members and move for their admission before the United States Supreme Court, a truly memorable experience for everyone involved. Finally, we held several highly regarded events, including co-presenting an important election-focused Law Day program in partnership with the American Bar Association's Task Force for American Democracy and the Pennsylvania Bar Association. We held meaningful quarterly events that focused on diversity, equity, inclusion, and on the current historic slate of female leaders in Pennsylvania. We also held chancellors' forums on the parenthood penalty and on judicial security. Chancellor Jafari is again continuing the important conversation about judicial security with an upcoming forum that will be a follow-up discussion on this topic. As noted, so many of our projects from 2024 remain ongoing in 2025, and Chancellor Jafari has demonstrated commitment to the continuity and leadership consistent with the principles of our strategic plan, while at the same time, she has truly been a steadfast and insightful leader, developing thoughtful and meaningful responses to the ever-changing landscape that we face as part of her Meeting the Moment initiative. Before I close, I have to once again publicly thank those who played a special role in our successes last year and empowered me to serve as your Chancellor. First, our incredible team, including Kathy and Ezra as Chancellor-elect and Vice Chancellor, and all of the members of the Cabinet, who were an incredible group of advisors for all of the innovative work that we accomplished. Our Board of Governors, as I said, was truly so hard at work, as were all of our committee and section chairs, who advanced groundbreaking initiatives to push our association ahead. Next, our incomparable staff worked tirelessly on the many projects our volunteer leadership developed, and they were led by our remarkable executive director, Harvey Hurdle, who unfortunately is sick and could not be with us tonight. But we will miss Harvey terribly when he retires in June, and we are so grateful to his immense dedication to our association. I must also share a sincere note of gratitude to my firm, Margolis Edelstein. You have always supported me in every bar association endeavor I undertake, and I am so proud that we have demonstrated unwavering commitment to the association for decades, as demonstrated by our managing partner, Michael McKenna, who is a member of our 50-year club tonight. Finally, my family, who I always say is my rock. My parents set a wonderful example of social activism and community engagement that I always strive to emulate. They also frequently help share the household responsibilities, making it possible for me to be away from home so often. To my boys, Drew and Logan, you make me so proud every day with all that you do and the young men you are growing to be. And you inspire me to do this work, to play a small role in making the world better for both of you. And finally, my amazing husband, Walt. You are the epitome of a true partner, and you make me a better person, a better lawyer, and a better leader. I am so grateful to have you by my side as we navigate this crazy world and do our best to make it just a little bit better. Thank you again for the opportunity to lead this amazing association that I love so much. I look forward to seeing the new heights that we will achieve and the impactful work that we will continue to do in the years to come. Thank you.
Jen, congratulations again, and thank you. I am so excited that we can celebrate the vibrant community of long-tenured attorneys and judges who remain active even into retirement as part of our association. And this evening, we honor the new inductees to our 50-60-year club. I always love seeing all of the names up on the screen when we do this. So, speaking on behalf of our inductees, I am so excited and honored that representing the 60-year club this evening is my partner and colleague, Bob Feedback, Senior Counsel at Cozen O'Connor. Bob, please join us to share some remarks.
Chancellor Jafari, fellow members of the 50, 60, and 70-year club, members of the bench and bar, and guests. Thank you, Chancellor Jafari, for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the 60-year club. But before doing so, would first like to introduce my granddaughter, Madeline Demchik, who is a second-year law student at Temple. My message on behalf of the 60-year class is in the form of a letter to her. Dear Maddie, you have heard that over the past 60 years, the law has become less of a profession and more of a business. In fact, some say it is no longer a profession, but is only a business. I take exception to that. While there has no doubt been much greater emphasis by law firms on the business practices and aspects of conducting a practice of law, we still maintain high ethical standards and enforce them when necessary. We, as a profession, must continue to behave like professionals and continue to enforce our high ethical standards and fight for what is important and maintain our profession as a profession. Yes, by emphasizing the business aspects of the practice of law, lawyers' income has far outpaced inflation. But we must continue to prioritize our professional standards, and it has never been more important than to do so now, when so many of our beliefs of what is constitutional is being challenged by the present administration. There have been many important changes in the law during the past 60 years. Among them, rapid changes in technology and the too slow and unfinished diversification of our profession. But several critical values remain unchanged over those 60 years. Respect for the rule of law, respect for the independence of our judiciary, respect for the constitutional concept of judicial review, tolerance for lawyers to oppose the government on behalf of their clients without being penalized by the government for doing so. All of those long-standing hallmarks of our great constitutional democracy are under attack today. It is incumbent on our profession to combat the attempts to erode those protections. As Chancellor Jafari has said, the Philadelphia Bar Association is using, quote, our power, influence, and voice to meet this moment in support of democracy and the rule of law, close quote. And as the president of the ABA recently observed, quote, this is our time as a profession, our time to lead, our time to show our community why the legal profession exists, close quote. Maddie, the torch is passed to the next generation of professionals. Please do your best to protect and nurture the core values of our democracy. Love, Poppy.
Okay, I thought I was not going to cry tonight. Bob, thank you for those incredible words that you shared with this young, wonderful woman who is our future of our profession. And I stand here to remind everyone that the Philadelphia Bar Association is standing for the rule of law. We will continue to not just make our statements, not just pass our resolutions, and not just convene individuals to come together, but we will strive to uphold all of the standards the way they need to be upheld for our profession. So thank you for that reminder, Bob. Okay, so for the 50-year club, I am excited that I had the opportunity to ask Deb Willig, managing partner of Willig, Williams, and Davidson, to actually speak on behalf of the 50-year club. She is the association's first female chancellor. Unfortunately, she was unable to join us tonight because she was traveling, but she has recorded her remarks, and so for that, I'm grateful. Let's play the tape.
Good evening, friends and colleagues. When I was a young lawyer, I always enjoyed attending these quarterly meetings. I was especially moved during the moments when we honored those who had practiced law for 50 or 60 or even 70 years. I remember sitting at the meetings, watching those remarkable attorneys, and wondering whether one day I would reach that milestone. So I was thrilled to be asked to represent our class at this year's meeting. I'm sorry I can't be with you in person, but grateful to have the opportunity to speak nonetheless. I'm sure many of us celebrating this milestone find it hard to believe that we've been in practice for 50 years. What a fulfilling half-century it's been. Congratulations to all of the members of all of the classes. In 1992, during my installation speech as Chancellor of the Bar, I said that I love what I do, I love who I do it for, and I love who I do it with. That is as true today as it was then. But as much as I celebrate and cherish our profession, those of you who know me well know that I cannot stay silent in the face of attacks on it. I am gravely concerned. The rule of law and the institutions that depend upon it have reached an inflection point. We are, I believe, in a very dark place. Our institutions of government, which many of us thought immutable, are being dismantled piecemeal. Our respected colleagues in the judiciary and the law itself are under assault, not from external forces, but from harmful and often baseless rhetoric that undermines the foundation upon which not just our profession, but our entire society rests. Through relentless attacks on law firms, lawyers, and judges, Washington is fomenting a dangerous false narrative by dismissing unfavorable rulings and as the work of so-called judges, calling for the disqualification and even the impeachment of judges whose rulings it doesn't like, and scapegoating attorneys as bad guys. They erode public trust in our justice system. This campaign to delegitimize the law is deeply troubling. This is not about politics, it's about principles. When those in power seek to undermine the credibility of our courts and demonize legal professionals, they chip away at the trust people place in this sacred system. The result is a citizenry increasingly disillusioned about the justice system, which is the pillar upon which our democracy rests. As many of you undoubtedly know, I have dedicated my career to representing labor unions. I learned early on of the extraordinary power in unity. When workers stand together, they can achieve goals once thought impossible. I believe the same is true for us. Lawyers, law firms, bar associations must stand united to collectively defend the rule of law. That sentiment was echoed in an opinion piece by Deborah Pearlstein, published March 25th in the New York Times. Ms. Pearlstein is the director of the program in Law and Public Policy at Princeton University. In an article examining the so-called deal to which the Paul Weiss firm agreed, she wrote of Big Law's deafening silence regarding the president's assault on the legal system. Every individual has an incentive to keep quiet, but if everyone stays silent, all will lose. The problem is understandable. It also is solvable. It requires firms to find the courage to act together, she wrote. And if you think it's easy to cast stones when you're not the victim, rest assured that unions and the bar that represent them are also targets. I agree with Professor Pearlstein. It is time to stand up, not stand down. To be courageous, not cowardly. To show future generations of attorneys what it means to be a Philadelphia lawyer. Think of Rachel Cohen, the young associate at Skadden, who had the courage to write an open letter to Big Law, calling on firms to defend their colleagues and the profession. We need to act collectively. First, we must reaffirm our unwavering commitment to preserving the integrity of the legal system. We're not merely advocates, we are the guardians of justice, and we must lead by example. When our colleagues and the judiciary are vilified, we must defend them boldly and unapologetically. We must demonstrate that lawyers are not pawns to be pitted against one another, but professionals united by our duty to vigorously represent our clients and ensure that laws are applied fairly to all. Second, we must educate the public about the critical role the legal system plays in their lives. The justice system is not an abstract concept. It is what ensures fairness in transactions, protections for civil rights, and a check on abuses of power. The more the public understands this, the harder it becomes to malign the system. The rule of law has endured because those who came before us refused to back down, even in the face of adversity. Now it is our turn to honor that legacy by standing together. We are smart Philadelphia lawyers. An honorific bestowed on Andrew Hamilton in 1734 after he successfully defended Peter Zinger, a New York printer charged with seditious libel for publishing articles critical of the colonial governor. Tonight, I urge all of us to embody that duty to the fullest. Together, we can ensure that no one, not even the most powerful voice in the land, can undermine a system where laws, not individuals, govern society. That is the oath we swore, and we must live up to it. Thank you.
We at the Bar Association are committed to being courageous, and we will continue to guard justice. Thank you again, Deb and Bob, for the wonderful words that you shared, and congratulations again to all of this year's inductees. Okay. I am now very excited to move on to our panel for the evening. As our panelists make their way to the stage, we have a little treat for you, so let's play the tape.
Brotherly love, where our freedom were enshrined on parchment for the world to see.
So 2026 is going to be an exciting year. Get ready, Ezra. It includes the 250th anniversary of American independence, the FIFA World Cup, the first and second rounds of the NCAA men's basketball tournament, and we wanted to give our members a preview of everything that will be happening. So we have about 20 minutes or 25 minutes of discussion, and I'm really proud to introduce a panel of city leaders who are here to give our members this preview. What I'm going to do is introduce them very quickly and then ask them to introduce themselves. But before I do that, I really want to thank Harvey Hurdle for helping plan this panel. And I am so sorry that he cannot be here with us tonight, as Jen had mentioned. Rest assured, he is fine, and he's keeping us all safe. And he said, I can share this, because he tested positive for COVID. So, as always, Harvey keeps us safe, and that's why he has been a thoughtful leader tonight. So, y'all are stuck with me, but really, more importantly, it's amazing to hear from each of the people on this stage. So, I'll just go down the line, just giving names and titles, and then we'll have a chat. Angela Val, President and CEO of Visit Philadelphia. Meg Kane, host City Executive CEO, Philadelphia Soccer 2026, and Michael DelBene, all right, President and CEO of Welcome America. All right, so welcome. Thanks for joining us. Would you each please briefly describe your role and actually what we thought might be interesting, your path to getting into your organization? I like that smile, Meg. So I'll start down that end and make it this way, and we'll keep going back and forth. Michael.
Michael DelBene, I'm the president and CEO of Welcome America. For those of you who don't know, Welcome America is a nonprofit organization that enjoys a public-private partnership with the city of Philadelphia. I work for Mayor Parker, and my organization is here to serve the mayor's administration in the city of Philadelphia. We plan and deliver some of the city of Philadelphia's largest annual events, namely the Wawa Welcome America celebration, which is the 16-day celebration leading up to and including July 4th. Our organization begins its festival on Juneteenth and ends it on July 4th, and that was done strategically. In 2021, we began that to really build a festival that all Philadelphians and all Americans could see themselves in, and one that was more honest and open and inclusive about the last 250 years of our nation's journey. My journey to this role is I've been here since 2019. Prior to that, I spent almost a decade doing business development for the Mann Center for the Performing Arts, the outdoor performing arts venue in Fairmount Park. And prior to that was the head of corporate giving and the foundation at Wachovia Bank. If you remember Wachovia Bank before it became Wells Fargo. So I grew up in this area. I'm from South Jersey. I moved to New York for about 10 or 15 years and have made my way back to Philadelphia and am in this role now and absolutely love it.
Well, I've seen a lot of amazing concerts at the Mann, so I like that part of it. I like all the story, but I like that part too. Meg, please.
Meg Kane. I'm the host of the executive and CEO for Philadelphia Soccer 2026, which I often lead with is not FIFA. It is the 501c3 nonprofit local organizing committee for FIFA World Cup in Philadelphia.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely. It's a very important distinction, trust me. My role has been very unique. I have been part of this FIFA World Cup journey since 2019.
Oh, wow.
But in fact, our bid for the World Cup started 2 days after the NFL draft in 2017. So for context, the Eagles had not yet won a Super Bowl when we started this bid, and now we have 2 Lombardis, which is fabulous. So go Birds. But we have been working as the local organizing committee first for the bid, and now as the operationalizing aspect of this it really is the liaison, if you will, between the city of Philadelphia, FIFA, the Philadelphia Eagles as our venue host with Lincoln Financial Field. We work closely with the Philadelphia Union. We work closely with Visit Philadelphia, the PHL-CBB, all of our tourism marketing partners within the city of Philadelphia. Welcome America. It is probably the ultimate public-private partnership to bring FIFA World Cup to Philadelphia, and there are lots of great and fun stories that I'll look forward to sharing, perhaps someday over cocktails. My journey here...
2027?
Yeah, that's the 2027 version of this. But my journey to this role is unique in the fact that I am a public relations professional by trade. I own a public relations agency in Philadelphia concurrently with serving in this role. I cut my teeth on big events. I ran communications for Pope Francis's visit to Philadelphia in 2015 and still apologize for the papal fence. And I'll turn it over to Angela.
Angela.
She also left out they're raising all the money for all this to happen. I'm Angela Val. I'm the president and CEO of Visit Philadelphia. And we are the official tourism marketing agency for Philadelphia and the 4 surrounding counties. What does that mean? We really drive tourism here through marketing, advertising, public relations, social media. So just how you see on TV ads for Orlando, we do ads for Philadelphia region throughout the United States, inviting visitors to come here. We also think that our work very much instills pride in our residents here and helps brand Philadelphia. And a lot of that reputation and brand work comes from these large events that happen here. Really our role in the 2026 is going to be marketing all of the great things that happen. We have also partnered with TED. They bring the big TED and TED Women that happens in Atlanta. We will be debuting TED Democracy here in June of 2026 with 15 national and international speakers.
Fabulous. That's great to hear.
it should happen here in America's birthplace, right?
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
Perfect year, perfect place. I've gotten to my role. I'm from Maryland, from Rockville. I went to Drexel for hospitality. Yes, that's right, DU. And I've always been in tourism here in Philadelphia. I started at Visit Philadelphia as a receptionist. And about 3 years ago, I took over as the CEO. I was the receptionist and executive assistant to Meryl Levitz, our founder, and my mentor and teacher. Could not do this job without her. Romy, make sure you tell her that. I know you're in the room. But she is fantastic. My predecessor, Jeff Gorosino, unfortunately passed away just a few years ago, and this spot became open, and I decided to go for it. So
Good for
it is
you.
amazing to be able to perhaps end my career in the place I started.
Yeah, I love that journey. So I'm going to start with you next.
Okay.
Can you just, in a couple of sentences, I know that's going to be hard, but describe maybe a few of the events. You touched on one of them,
Yes.
right? Can you describe just a few other events, and maybe in the context of the vision, statement that your group may have?
You know, when we looked at, we knew the 250th celebration was coming many, many years ago. Sam Katz, Ed Rendell, Andrew Hones, really about 13, 14 years ago, started ringing this bell. And I will say, when they came to our office, we were kind of like, that is so far away. I honestly was like, I'm not even going to be here. I don't really care. Do what you want to do. And then here I am, sitting here in this seat. But really, we wanted to make sure that Philadelphia, one, was the epicenter for 2026, first and foremost, America's birthplace of modern day democracy. We also wanted to make sure that this place is welcoming, no matter who you are, what you believe in, who you love. It doesn't matter, that you are welcomed here. We don't all have to agree, but you are welcome in this place. Our core value is brotherly love, and we should live that every day. And then we did not want the 250th just to be a walk-through time, right, in history, right? We wanted to celebrate the fact that no matter how you got here, when you got here, if you were already here, if you were dragged here against your will, if you came here just for a better life, that every single person has contributed to this place. This place is not perfect, but it is our home. And the one thing that is amazing about America is that we take that moment to re-examine ourselves all of the time, stepping back and stepping forward at the same time. We wanted to celebrate not just our history, but also the contributions that we've made to the world in music, in sports, in fashion, in food, in innovation. And so we really just want people to have a good time. And some of those events, besides TED Democracy, you named World Cup, which will be the biggest event that happens that year, and the biggest event Visit Philadelphia has ever hosted. But we also have a couple other things. There's Art Philly, that will be a festival throughout the city for arts and culture. There's 52 Weeks of First, celebrating 52 inventions that happened here in Philadelphia that have changed the world, which will also be amazing. There will be a huge art exhibition that will be announced later this month.
So are we the first to hear at least a little?
It's going to be a big one. It's a private collection of someone that they're only going to be exhibiting here in Philadelphia in 2026. So it's going to be a monster. And we also have 19 conventions on top of these other large events booked by our sister organization, the Philadelphia Convention and Visitors Bureau.
So Philly will be busy just with all of that. And I have to say, I know a lot of spouses who've been drugged to Philly, and they love it. So will you share what is the vision state? So we'll talk about a little bit about plans around what's happening.
Well, first off, nobody articulates 2026 and the vision for it better than Angela. So it's very hard to follow that, because I think it really does capture the way in which I think the city is coming together around this activation. And I think of it as a year-long activation, what 2026 is.
Okay.
But as Angela said, FIFA World Cup is the largest event that we are hosting. It is 39 days in length. We will host 6 matches here in Philadelphia at Lincoln Financial Field, June 14th, 19th, 22nd, 25th, 27th, and of course, On Saturday, July 4th of 2026, we will host a match.
Really?
Really, because we had nothing else going on that day. So, no, it's an incredible opportunity. So we will be hosting the matches down at Lincoln Financial Field, but concurrently we will be hosting FIFA Fan Festival, and that is really the 39-day open to the public celebration of soccer. It is where we anticipate that we will see upwards of 25,000 people per day to watch matches, to be part of Food and Soul, the sponsor activations, watch party, family zones. It's really an opportunity to kind of enjoy the FIFA World Cup in a way that will invite both residents and our international tourists. We expect 500,000 tourists to Philadelphia for FIFA World Cup alone. That doesn't count 250, it doesn't count the MLB All-Star Game. And I think most importantly, when we look at that, it's probably about 250,000 in international tourists coming to Philadelphia. 70% of them will not have a ticket to a match. They will come to be part of the party. And to Angela's point around history, I think that for soccer, that the history of soccer in Philadelphia has a really incredible shared narrative with the diversity of the city and our story of immigration and neighborhoods, and how this city was built and how it has grown. And so when you look originally in the mid-1880s, around in the mid-1800s and through the late 1880s, the rise of the river wards and where factories were built along the rivers, that is also where you would see European immigrants playing soccer and nationalities that way. And so Polish and English and Irish and Italian immigrants played soccer after work as before they went home. It was their sport. And so now, as we look forward and we come to 2025, that soccer passion still exists along the river wards in the Northeast, but it has expanded greatly into West and Southwest Philadelphia, as we've seen in tremendous growth in African immigration, as well as in the Caribbean nations and South America. So when you think about soccer, it is really in every neighborhood of Philadelphia. And so in addition to what we're doing at FanFest, we also want to make sure, especially as we find out who will play here, which is in December of 25, that we are activating around the immigrant communities who are going to be so excited and so proud to see their nations and their sport come to their city, their chosen home. And so for us, that's a really important part of our story too.
Meg, that is so exciting. And I have to say, my family is from Iran, and football to them
Football
is
is
the world.
life. Absolutely. And
Cousin played soccer,
and you
his kids play soccer, so
Iran already
I guess I
qualified
better
already
open
for the
up my
tournament.
door,
That's right.
because they'll be living with me. Michael, please.
Yeah, so, for us at Welcome America, the 250th anniversary is supremely important. But unlike so many organizations that 2026, they will pop up for 2026 and then go away. Welcome America has been around for 35 years, right? And so, we have a festival in 2025 and one in 2027 and beyond. And so for us, we have created over the last 35 years Philadelphia's birthday party for the United States every July 4th. And so what we are really doing is planning a festival that is basically saying to the world, if you're lucky enough to be in Philadelphia between June 19th and July 4th, you are going to get to experience what is already the biggest July 4th celebration in America. You are already going to get to experience what is already the largest free festival in America, because everything we do at Welcome America is free. So we're sort of inviting you to our annual birthday party, which is really a lot of fun. For us, the threading of the needle comes in balancing a celebratory party with a date that is really meaningful. Right? There's a gravity to July 4th, especially when you're talking about 1776 and you're talking about the semi-quincentennial. So we have to balance fun and celebration with meaning. We also have to balance the notion that we are looking back while at the same time we are looking forward. Right? And so as I referenced earlier, when we made the strategic decision to expand our festival to begin on Juneteenth and to end on July 4th, we did that to create a festival that really explores many, many different ways to express freedom and liberty and independence, right? It was not the same, as Angela alluded to. Not everyone came here the same way. Not everyone experiences July 4th the same way. Not everyone has experienced freedom and liberty and independence the same way. And so we want to make sure that we recognize that. Our festival is less about July 4th, 1776, and more about everything that has happened since. We call it the unwavering, unrelenting pursuit of a more perfect union. That is what we celebrate. That's what we'll celebrate in 25 and what we'll celebrate in 27, and certainly what we'll celebrate in 26. So when people come to our festival, they're going to get a party, but they're going to understand why we celebrate. And yes, we celebrate our independence, and yes, we celebrate that incredible, audacious thing that happened on July 4th, 1776, but we equally celebrate every single moment of progress that has moved our nation forward since then. And that is why the 250th anniversary is so important, because we have 250 years of progress. Even though it may feel like sometimes we've taken a step back, in the arc of history, we have always moved forward, and that's what we want to celebrate.
I'm glad we're applauding all of this, especially how meaningful it is to begin on Juneteenth, right? The Philadelphia Bar Association created or sponsored a civil rights journey just 2 weeks ago, and we will be doing it again in the future. So for you to tie in that history is going to be extremely important for our community. Okay, one of my favorite questions. We only have a few more minutes together. One of my favorite questions: 3 adjectives or emotions, no more than 3 adjectives or emotions that describe the type of experience you want to offer the residents and the visitors. So again, we'll start, Michael, and work our way down. Adjectives or emotions, the type of experience.
The first one would be unique. There are a lot of cities that are going to celebrate July 4th, 1776 and the 250th anniversary. I guarantee you that no other city in America has a July 4th, 250th anniversary celebration, a World Cup host city, a Major League Baseball host city.
No one else does, I can assure you.
Right, but also the unique value proposition that Philadelphia had is this is where it happened.
Yes.
This is where it happened, and no other city in the world can claim that. There's a fun little thing we have going back and forth with Boston. They say they started it, we finished it, that type of thing. No. This is where it happened. We have the hall. We have the World Heritage Site. We have the hall. This is where it happened. So unique is the first one. Second is local. I think one of the things that Philadelphians really pride themselves on is that when you come to Philadelphia, you have come into our home. And we are going to open our doors to you, and we're going to show you what Philadelphia is all about, but you're in our home. So everything that we do is going to be a true and authentic expression of Philadelphia. And then third is just purely awe-inducing. The word that I think of is wow. Everywhere that you turn in this city for about a period of 90 days continuously, you're just going to say wow. And I guarantee you that global visitors are going to say that, but residents are going to say it too. You're going to see your city activated in a way that you've never seen.
Can I hold
before.
you to that?
What's that?
Can I hold you to that? I love the word wow.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Meg, 3 emotions or 3 emotions.
Sure.
Or adjectives.
Well, the first thing I would also say is that I have the conversation with Boston all the time because they're a FIFA host city as well. And I always just say to them that possession is 9/10 of the law. So that is how I usually shut down the...
I like that. We have Independence Hall. We have the Liberty Bell. Okay.
Right. They had a tea party. And I have shared that. I've said that to our friends in Boston. So, the 3 words that I come to is authentic, right? When I think back on how we won our bid, we had to compete against 24 U.S. cities. And when Angela asked me to join this, I would say that we were on the outside looking in. Yeah. And we really needed to introduce FIFA to Philadelphia in a way that they didn't know us. We were a city that just happened to be in between Washington, D.C. and New York. So for me, the way that our team, and I certainly, this is a shared experience of everyone who stepped up for our bid, was the authenticity of Philadelphia is what won our bid, so we want to lean into that. So we want that authenticity to really shine through. And that's not just about cheesesteaks and soft pretzels and water ice, right? That is about who we are as a welcoming people, right? That we are always a surprise and delight for people who have never been here. They think they know us, they don't know us. They come and then they want to come back. That is a really important part of this, and that's a really important goal for us, but it's rooted in our authenticity. So that's one, authentic experience. The second is inspired. I think that sports can unite in a way that nothing else can. And in a moment where we are talking a lot about divisiveness, sports is often what brings us together. We know that as a city, but it's also important around the world. And I was recently on a panel with Pele's daughter, and she reminded us that during world wars, that Olympians were granted safe passage to be able to travel, to compete, because there was a level of respect for that competition and for sport. And it was a way that the world stopped for a minute and united around sport. I think the FIFA World Cup in 26 has a tremendous opportunity to do that. And I think at a moment when we need it most, I think it has that power to inspire. And I think we all can use a little bit of that. Yes. And the last thing I would say is pride. It is, for me, the most important thing is actually not about the tourists. I welcome them. I want them to have an amazing time. I want our residents to be incredibly proud of what we deliver. I want us to be proud of who we are. And I want us to wear this as the moment that we stopped asking ourselves, are we good enough? And that we just know that we are.
Love that. Angela.
That's a tough one to follow.
I know, these are...
I do want for people to feel optimistic, right, coming out of this. Like Mike said, there is a lot of division, throughout the world, amongst your neighbors, all of this thing. But if we could come out of this feeling more hopeful than we might feel at this moment, united, I think, is the best word. The 4th of July is legit my favorite holiday because for those few minutes when we're all looking into the sky together at the fireworks, we're just American. And it feels so good that I want that to just be that feeling over that year, at least on July 4th for it, and for people to remember what that feels like. And I want us to feel as a city that same kind of excitement and joy that we have when our teams win. I just like when you're getting up because you can hear the people outside already. You're like, I got to get outside because they're already on the sidewalk having a good time. I want for that to be the feeling we have this next year.
I love that. As a Center City resident, I've run out into Broad Street a couple of times. Okay, so this is for any of you or all of you. Is there anything that the legal community can do as the legal profession, or at least as individuals in all of these wonderful celebrations? Any thoughts there?
I mean, I'm definitely going to say as individuals.
Yeah.
I mean, the legal thing, you might have a question. But
that one was Harvey. He's,
Yes. We're definitely want for you all to stay. Meg is going to touch on that. Okay. But we are also going to be doing an ambassador program through the Philadelphia Visitor Center. These ambassadors will be people who not just help us out in 2026 with all these major events, but people who are the megaphones of pride for this city, 26 and beyond. Some of those folks might have the time to volunteer for one of these larger events, or you might just have time to greet people at the airport when they show up, or give directions on the street when somebody is walking past. We really want for people to be a part of this. Every city, has a nice restaurant, has a nice museum, all of these things. A city is first its people. And without you here, these events don't work. Vibrancy is what we're all looking for. And I would say getting the information out about 2026. We have a great website. Meg has a great website. Newsletters that go out to keep people in the know about what's going on, and to create excitement around it.
Great. Meg, anything to add?
I have two things that I can think of. First is absolutely stay. There is nothing that is it's so hard sometimes to be in conversations. I do this presentation, and I will talk to people, and the first thing they say to me is like, "Oh my God, this is so exciting! I cannot." Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for Philadelphia. How much do you think my house can get for Airbnb? Right? Or I get the comment of, oh my gosh, this is so great for the city. I just can't wait to watch it on TV from the shore because I'm gonna leave. We can't give an authentic experience of Philadelphia if there's no Philadelphians here.
But
the other part of it is we want everyone to be part of it, right? This isn't a moment. Sometimes I will never forget during the papal visit, there was a front page of the Daily News that said, "God help us all," as if we weren't going to survive a 78-year-old with one lung coming to visit us and give us some blessings, right? I mean, there was this sense of foreboding. This isn't going to be an incredible experience. We did 1.5 million people on Valentine's Day this year in Center City. We had a blast. No one said, "Oh my gosh, we can't handle it." We are absolutely going to be able to handle 500,000 people for FIFA over a 40-day period if we can handle 1.5 million people for a day, for a parade, on 4 days' notice. So I just encourage everyone to stay and to encourage other people to stay and to be ambassadors for staying in the city and being part of this. The second is, and I think this is more incumbent upon Philadelphia Soccer 2026 to outreach to the Bar Association, is that we may need your help. We may need pro bono legal services to be provided. We do not know what is going to face us coming forward. Certainly, we have plenty of legal needs that we are engaged in already. But as we get closer to the tournament, we don't know the nations that are going to come. We don't know what's happening with visas and immigration and other issues that are going to arise. And it's not necessarily incumbent upon host cities to take on that responsibility, but as Philadelphia is a welcoming city and we will want to be of service to those who may be visiting and may need assistance, we may need to reach out to the Bar Association for that type of work.
Thank you for sharing that. That's a really important ask.
I just want to say before Michael goes, it's a privilege to have large events in a city. Most cities can't do it. And for people to see it as something that's put upon them, I just ask that you just think about the fact that somebody is going to say, "Oh my God, World Cup was in Philadelphia." There are a ton of cities that couldn't even bid on this. We not only bid on it, we won it.
Yeah.
And that is a huge deal. And most of Philadelphians would never be able to afford to go to a World Cup. So stay, even if you don't have a ticket, to enjoy this.
Michael.
So my answer is similar to Meg's, but what I'm going to ask for Welcome America in particular is for you all to continue to do exactly what you do every day. But the reason that I think it bears repeating is I heard the speakers talk about you standing for the rule of law and standing for individuals who cannot stand for themselves. I want to tell you a quick story. As part of Welcome America every year, we have a celebration that we call a festival within the festival, and it's called Hispanic Fiesta. And we bring tens of thousands of people together, and it's a celebration of Latin music and food and heritage and culture, and it's wonderful. And this year, we're going to make the announcement that it's going to be in Love Park. It's going to be right in Center City. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. The organization that we partner with that does outreach into the Latin and Hispanic community is finding it very hard to get business owners, vendors, shop owners, and residents to get excited about Hispanic Fiesta because they're afraid that if they come downtown to Love Park, they're going to get snatched up by ICE and they're going to get sent home. Those people need somewhere to turn when they have questions, when they have fears, when they have concerns, and frankly, when the knock on the door comes. You all, and you don't need to be told this because you know it, but it's worth repeating, you all are the cavalry that comes and helps these people, not only in their time of need, but helps them feel better about leaving their house and going out and interacting with the public. We see that in communities that are incredibly poor and poverty-stricken, that are afraid that if they come to events like this, they're going to face trouble. We see it with the homeless population that is afraid that if we activate a public space, that they're somehow going to get in trouble because that's where they call home and that's where they've chosen to live. Folks who understand the law and understand the rule of law are the dividing line between the work that we do in bringing things out to the community, but also making sure that the impact that we have on people is a fair and just one.
I hear a call to action there. Okay, so I hope everybody else heard it as well. And so let me actually, I think, do you mind if we take a few questions? Does anybody have any questions? Oh, right away, okay. I'm gonna play Oprah. I'm coming down. Let's just take a few questions if we have any. Gail?
I want to know how soon and when and how we get tickets for FIFA.
What? I think that's directed to me. So A couple of things that I think are really important. One, FIFA controls all ticketing. So if you are interested in being on the list for tickets, please visit fifa.org/tickets and register all of your information there so that you are on the list. I think it is important to recognize that in 2022, that in the first 24 hours that tickets were available for Qatar, that FIFA received 23 million applications for tickets to Qatar. Right? So very, very in demand, but the way to go through that is through fifa.org/ticketing.
But Meg, we know you now. I'm only kidding.
Yeah.
I'm only kidding. That's my way of saying.
Listen, don't let her. She's got tickets in her pocket. Don't let her.
As someone who, correct, as someone who has also registered for my tickets on the site. No, and
I promise that was my way of saying don't call Meg.
I appreciate that. But it's also important to recognize that part of the work that we will do as Philadelphia Soccer 2026 is we're waiting on a lot of information from FIFA around how ticketing is going to work. There have been more text messages to me with a graphic from StubHub telling me that the tickets are on sale than I can count. And the fact is like StubHub has no relationship and they have no tickets. And so there's a lot of actors out there that are starting to try to position themselves as having tickets. It is what our goal is that in late summer, before tickets go on sale, that we would be able to launch more of an educational awareness, social media campaign to help people know how to get tickets and what to be on the lookout for, right? Because there obviously will be a secondary market. FIFA may control that secondary market. We don't know that yet. But it is one of the most fascinating, I would say, and most interesting parts of this is the fact that we are a host city and we are also in line to purchase tickets for FIFA World Cup. But fifa.org/tickets would be your best bet.
And Michael, Welcome America, everything's free.
Welcome America, everything's free and open to the public.
Okay.
So just come on down and come on out and have a good time.
Any other questions before we, one more here.
Hi, everybody. It's my understanding Boston has a freedom trail, and we don't have a democracy trail here. Is there something that can be put like on the sidewalk to guide people through, or is that already in the planning?
I'm going to take that one. I read that same article. For a very long time, I've been at Visit forever, and this comes up every now and again. Visit is not really in the position to build a building or to create a tour. We really market all of the things that are already here, right? Your restaurant, your hotel, your attraction, whatever it might be, your neighborhood festival. But what we decided to do this time in 2026 is partner with somebody who does the work of tours and trails. So we are going to be piloting a program, a trail, which we're calling Path to Democracy in 2026. And that will come out probably in late spring next year. And it will grow over the next 2 years. Visit will be the primary sponsor of it until we can find another home. But we, like you, believe, yes, we should have something here. Just similar to the Freedom Trail. It's kind of hard to make that argument that we're the one where it starts and ends without having something that reminds people of that and how to get them around the city to all those sites.
Last question.
Yeah, hi, thank you so much for coming. So I'll spread the goodness and ask Mike a question. Sure. So Mike, how can we help, because I know sponsors, so can we get the information so we can put it out through the bar, put it out through the affinity groups that we can help you call up, sponsors and get people to help with the festival, because it sounds awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate the question to me, but all of us need sponsors. One of the biggest things that has been the challenge right from the beginning is when you ask us to use words like wow and awe-inspiring and prideful and all of that, that all comes with a price tag. And there are a lot of companies in Philadelphia that have stepped up and wrote enormous checks. They've been incredibly generous, the foundation community, the philanthropic community. But there's a role and there's a place for small sponsors too. Not everybody who invests in the success of what we are attempting to do needs to be a 6 or 7-figure sponsor. So what I would say is that every single, and I know this to be true, every single entity that you care about that has a role in 2026, whether it's big like us or your local museum or even your local community center, they all have a website And on every single one of those websites, there's a way to get involved, because we have all had to go out hat in hand and ask every single member of the community. So welcomeamerica.com/sponsors, Philadelphia26.com/sponsors, Visit Philly the same. There are places where you can invest your time, your talent, and your resources. And if it's your company and you're looking for brand exposure, or you're looking for an opportunity to have your employees come out and just sort of rise above the fray, there's opportunities for that too. So I really appreciate that question, because again, it's about these big organizations, but it's also about every little organization out there. The tiny little museum on the corner is going to do a program for 2026, and $500 might make a huge difference in their ability to actually deliver that program. So I encourage you to please take this information and then visit any organization that you care about, because they're going to want to do something in 2026.
Sounds great.
Actually, Visit keeps now a running list of these smaller organizations that have a gap for the event. It's just one sentence description. We can definitely send that to you. What they're looking for is not on this document. All we do is act as, I call myself the broker, and connect you to the organization so that you can have a direct conversation with them.
Sounds wonderful. And my ask of the leaders is, you have brilliant lawyers, not just in the room, but in Philadelphia. We are the teachers of civics. We are the teachers of democracy. So if you need us and you have programming on civics and things like that, so we can continue that conversation that Michael talked about, we are here for you. Thank you to the audience. I know we went a little over on what I intended, but they were giving us such great information. Let's thank our panelists for the wonderful information.
And as they make their way off the stage at this time, we have another little treat for you in terms of a video as they make their way down. Video makes me proud to be a Philadelphian. Thank you. Okay, folks, please join me in thanking Jen, our clubbers, our panelists, all of our sponsors, our institutional members, our leadership, Ezra, Christine. Shout out to my chair of the Board of Governors, Vic Patel from CLS. And shout out to my leader, Vince McGinnis from Cozen O'Connor, who is always my supporter. I cannot do this without him. I can't wait to see you all at the reception. Join us now. Enjoy yourself, eat. If you know me, come and say hello. If you don't know me, please come and say hello. Thank you all so much for your attention tonight.